I think that I should start to say a few words about myself. I'm, in the moment, a scientific worker of Warsaw University of Technology. As you have seen, I'm also certificate tester on the advanced level. I have only 2 from 3. In the moment, I'm acting vice president of Polish testing board. We call it Towarzyszenie Jakości Systemów Informatycznych, which is a little different than just testing board. But, well, I want to say why I have problem with agile testing. At the very end, I add 2 information which are not on slides because, well, things changed in time between I sent it to organizer. So I try to add some things on the very end. Of course, I think that all you know that Agile as a manifesto started 12 years ago. It was in February 2001. They proposed in such beautiful country land, they proposed something which is called Agile Manifesto. There are 4 points. Speaking truly, I do not believe in all of them. First of all, I think that all of you agree with me that that's the most important thing. Working software. It means software in production. It means satisfaction of our client. The second is customer collaboration and responding to change. Change are welcome. Speaking truly, the last process and tools versus individual and interaction, well, I have some doubts with it. Well, I try to explain it in my talk why I do not believe in people interaction as a most important thing for agile process. Of course, it has some other information which is connected with it. What is important for me is that according to Agile Manifesto, we use only iterative incremental approach. We add something all the time. We meet every way. In extreme programming, it was twice a week, which is rather impossible in the moment. In Scrum, we have once every 2 weeks, every 3 weeks, it depends. We have something which is working, which can be, it should be introduced to the production. Well, in different situations also, it's not exactly what we wish and not exactly works like this. During the last break, I'm talking with, oh, he's not here, there was a colleague from Finland that my son, well, I'm in age that I have a son. I have also a wife, according to Renan presentation. He's also working in IT. He's working in a bank inside IT department of the bank. They try to work using Scrum ideas, but because of bank regulation, releases are twice a year, roughly twice a year, sometimes 3 times a year. So it's not a real Scrum. Well, in Poland we call it Scrum à la Polonaise. It means that we use some Scrum ideas, but not really like it was proposed by people who proposed Scrum. Well, this basic agile principles is working software is the primary measure of the progress. I think that all of us agree with this. The second is informal face-to-face communication. I have some doubts. It's not so easy. Well, of course, if we sit in one room, we know each other, it will be easier. Sometimes some of us are in a little distance, bigger distance, whatever it means. For me, it's not the difference if we are not sitting in one room or if we are sitting, say, South Africa, Norway, United States, whatever it is. Self-organization, okay, that's what I like, because I have better and worse day. There are days where I can work very, very hard. That are days usually Usually it's Monday and Fridays, where I do not like work at all. So maybe I can do more on, say, Wednesday. I think that all you know the graph where we distinguish men and women. Men's usually on Monday and Friday. Well, thinking about something else than the work, so maybe it's not the best idea. Customer collaboration. Oh, I like it. I need it. But usually when I'm working on something for, well, not very small consumer, for bigger consumer, this collaborator from the business part should be a person from, well, maybe not very top management, but not low management. But people from top management on business side, of course, have no time for us. If they, well, I don't know how it's here, but in Poland, in Germany, in France, when I'm talking about it, usually they delegate somebody. It means that we obtain the person who has a partial knowledge, which means that we have some problems. René asked us, well, somebody of you was on his, before lunch, it was his discussion, when we have to froze the engine, changing. Well, 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 months. Well, it depends, of course, on our organization. Sometimes 2 weeks may be too late. So it's not always possible to do it. Well, there are many of these agile methodologies. Some of them are dead in the moment. Extreme programming, I think that somebody may have heard about it, but the top of extreme was 7, 8 years ago. Scrum is in the moment. Some solutions from Kanban. There are also others. If you wish, extreme programming is not existing in the moment. It's not a great. But, well, there is the first problem which we have with qualities. Testers are, well, testers are responsible for quality. They are not to prepare them. There are a result of investigation of journal, Dr. Dobbs journal from 2008. It has 5 years, but nothing changed. If you observe, you can find that agile teams are more effective and desired functionality than traditional teams, but less in quality. Very stupid. Rather unpredictable. So, because testers are responsible for quality, we have to do something with this. Oh? What's happening? No. Well, what we have to do to change this aspect, that agile team also propose something which will be better. First 2 steps are done. It goes also from this investigation, which is not on the slide. First of all, it's a good information from our managers. As far as I understand, most of you are test managers, which does not mean that you are top managers, but it's the future before us. Not before me, I don't want to be a top manager. So we obtain a shorter path to the market and greater profit. The second, which is also very funny, is that people believe that agile team produce higher quality. Well, if somebody believes it's easier, well, in this time we have some small problem, but it's not a real problem and so on. Well, what we have to improve quality? First is something which is called power of 3. We must cooperate. Whole team, tester work closely with developer and the business representative to ensure quality across all test levels. But usually, business has no time for us. Developers know better than testers. Or they believe that there are something better than tester Because typical tester, I don't know how it's here, I know how it's in Poland, typically tester has not enough knowledge about programming. Sometimes he even, well, he limited only to possibility to read the code. Sometimes even not something like this. I have several courses for CTFL, so I found that the white testing is a problem for sometimes for people who are testers. But from the individual tester perspective, this whole team approach means daily collaboration. Tester should transfer knowledge to non-testing team members. He should ensure a right level of integration with developers, right level of collaboration with consumer. I don't know how you, I do not like to be an interface. It's something always wrong for both sides. If I want to explain something to business representative, he usually say, well, but I want it, or it must be like this. If I want to explain something to developer, typical reaction, well, it's not like in typical in testing. In testing, typical reaction works on my computer, but it's not like here. Well, it's typical all over the world. Ask anybody from any country. But usually the answer is, well, I have no time, well, tell me later, in the moment I do something important, and so on and so on. So maybe stand-up meetings. But stand-up meetings, in Polish we called it 5 minutes meetings. So we do not have time for real explanation. It's 5 minutes. We want to explain only the most important facts. Of course, sometimes 5 minutes means a quarter, half an hour. But well, half an hour, not all the day. You agree with me, as I see. So, well, that's the problem. So the daily Scrum is not the answer for everything. Daily Scrum is only a tool. Maybe working, maybe not. It depends from our team. Okay, the second problem in this situation is that we work as a team. It means, team for me, means less than 10%. I don't believe in teams 100%. It may be team of teams. Well, I do not believe in army, in military programs, but this is a good solution. They started with small teams, 6, 8, 10%, then it was hierarchy, till something bigger. So we must find the right people. And there will be something which for the first moment have nothing to do with testing. It's something which is called galley and something which is called Viking boat. Well, where are the difference? In both situations there is a person with drum who tacted how the people can work. The difference, of course, on the galley is that on galley there are slaves. Here are Vikings, free persons. So, the people from that side, well, I have something to press. Oh, sorry. It's got out that I am not an engineer. My background is mathematics. Where I should to press to have a point on the screen? If any place? No, okay. I do it like this. Well, the people on the galley, slaves, are not interested in any trip. For them, there is no difference if they are going, say, from Palestine to Marseille, or from Marseille to the Africa, or whatever it works. Galleys works mostly on Mediterranean Sea. On Viking boats, there is a small difference, because Vikings are interested where they are going. If they are going from Scandinavia to south, well, sorry, I must look on my hint because my English is not so enough to use all situations. So, were interested in something which is called new spoils, mostly. Gold, silver, slaves, girls, not women, girls. If they are going back after success, well, they are also interesting to go back home because, well, there are some reveal on the end. Friends, families, girls, beers, another kind of alcohol, I don't know exactly what they are drinking. Well, as you observe on this slide, between 8th and until 11th century, well, Normandy in France, England, Sicily, on this, more people from Denmark, the people more from Sweden, part of Russia till Constantinople in this part. In some moment, the Viking troops decided who will be the emperor of Byzantium. But Viking expansion is not about 2.5 centuries. Galleys are used 25 centuries. What is more, Crete and Sparta use galleys, not Viking nor. So, this expansion, which was on previous slide, take, say, 200 years. In comparison with galley, which works 25 centuries, it's nothing. But it means that if our team really is interested in success, we can work. As I told you in the very, very beginning, I am Vice President of Stowarzyszenia Jakości Systemów Informatycznych. Between others, we try to calculate how many testers work in Poland. It's 6,000–7,000 people. I don't believe, sorry, that all of them are fanatics. That they want to work all the time, say 8 hours a day. I don't talking about 12 hours a day, which is more typical in our branch. But that's the problem. So we must have proper people. Secondly, testers should be built in team. But what it means? We have 10-person team. It means 5 developers, 6 developers. People, well, not developers, sorry, there is not such a role. People who specialize in developing. We have how many persons we have specialized in testing? 1? Sometimes even not. 2? Fantastic. Well, the second idea, we have 3 weeks for preparing something. What it means, we try to think positive. We do it. We must do it. Well, there are small errors. They are critical, but small. Well, we do them in the next sprint. We correct them and so on, so on, and so on. Well, business knowledge. That's also a typical problem. Well, we have product owner. But do this person have the knowledge of the whole situation, of whole problem? So, sometimes it's very funny. Really, we have also fanatic. But I don't believe in fanatics. Basic of requirements. Typical element as I want because Victor proposed today something different. Victor, say hello to everybody. He was the first talker in the opposite room. He's a fan of Agile, by the way. So sometimes I say something to him. Well, we quarrel 2 years, Victor, 3 years, something like that, a little.
No, we just discussed.
Without discussing, sorry, okay. But we cooperate also, it's not so that we are enemies. So we need this typical set of acceptance criteria, something which is called done in the jargon of Scrum. we prioritize all our story based on user categories, typically. But in good user story, we have something which is called, testable. It is invent categories. If you want to read more, you can find it in many, many places. I'm interested only in the last, testable. Because testing in Agile should be iterative. We return back to the same things. We must work without complete documentation. Well, it's also typical in any other ideas, but in Agile it goes strongly. It means that testers should be flexible, whatever it means. Good, very good word, but what it means? That I change I can change my jacket. But change my mind during 3 weeks' time, it's very, very difficult. I cannot do it. Maybe I'm too old. So, we concentrate on something which is called typical simple question. Well, that's a well-known story from 2000-2001, Hans Bunwalder talking in one of the conferences in Berlin in 2001 or 2002. That's a rather untypical situation. It's negative test, but, well, there's a problem. Who should know such untypical situation? Product owner? Tester? If we work during exploratory testing, we should check it. In some moment of my life, I work as a tester with personal data, I can call it. In the moment I found that in Warsaw, in my city, there is a street with a very long name. 21 Pułku Piechoty imienia Dzieci Warszawy. It's not important what it means. It's not important what it means, but, well, from time to time, if I have time, I try to put this name in appropriate form. Till now, I do not find the form which I can put this name. In Polish, we have some we call it Polish letters. Si, zi, bzi, and so on, and so on. Some of them can be introduced. U, it's O with some mark. But some of them are very difficult from some languages. It changes from situation to situation, so sometimes we have problem with it. Well, so what if I can try to summarize, what are typical activities of Scrum? Sorry, very simple, because I think that 2 minutes I obtain 5 minutes information, and I want to say something more. So, the best information is creation and testing in 3. So write and execute test for each story, write and execute functional test, automate, and so on. So Agile tester should be able to get quickly acquainted. Must have some sufficient product-related domain knowledge. From where? Who has such knowledge? He must not only test-driven development, but also acceptance test-driven development, behavior test-driven development. Victor talked more about it today in small. Well, maybe use this inverse test pyramid, but we must write and execute test. This impact idea, well known, I think that you know, that's a modification of Moscow, which was a moment ago. What should be tested, what we must test. But if we concentrate on unit testing, and in Scrum we concentrate on unit testing, could test and must test are focused on these first two. Acceptance testing is on must and should. So we have also some additional problem. The next things, feedback. A tester should understand basic of test automatization. Well, from the 6,000-7,000 people in Poland who work as a tester, less than 1,000 has enough knowledge about testing tools. Some of them are used mostly or only by developers. That's also the problem. Exploration test. It's impossible to instantly automate each test case because we must check something, well, by brain. If I write something on my forms, dear client, I don't like you, no automata will find it. It must be done by a tester. So, what we might say about Agile tester? First, I wrote the word zealot, but it's too strange for me. So I try to use a maniac, the person who can continuous learning. Well, of course, we sitting here in the room, well, all the time we have nothing to do, but we try to find something new, we learn something new. But how? By experience. In the middle of the night, well, I don't know how you, I like to sleep 8 hours. If I sleep 5 hours, I can't work very enough. So, the problem with tools. They changed. Well, I'm on several lists about tools, so twice a week, 3 times a week, I obtain information. Well, there is a new tool, there is a modification of some tool. Well, some tool which I use change their name and so on and so on. And I'm talking about small tools. Because of some of my contacts, I have something which is called academic license for this big IBM and HP tools. But people from, I don't say the name of the company, one of these two, told me lastly, please do not use the last version of our, because it's not working okay. Use the version -2, it's better. Well, but it's informal knowledge. If I go to my top manager and say, well, buy me a version -2, okay, try. What is also the problem? There are these 2 investigations, both on American market. Some of them is less and some is more important. This Casper Jones, that unit tests have effectiveness less than 30%. It means 1/4 of errors, of bugs, are found on this module test. Rex Black, it's smaller investigation, finds that effectiveness of 85% is good system tests. That's the problem with inverse pyramid, because in inverse pyramid we won't concentrate on module tests. In the moment we have 2 solutions. First, 2 levels of testing. One, say, inside Agile team, the second outside independent test team working, but it means that the time, say, to market is not 3 weeks, but it means 6 weeks or 9 weeks, because we have release number K. Well, the Scrum team prepare version K+1. They closed, so we must wait 3 weeks for correct our errors. I don't think it's a good solution. Typically, this independent test team is working on acceptance, non-functional and scenario-based testing, which are not very good done. It means 3-4 weeks delay between finding the failure and new version ready to retest. I don't think it's a good idea. Of course, well, you told me, well, we do not wait, there are some communication chains and so on, channels and so on and so on. But, well, the last 3 slides is the same Agile is equal to success. The 3 simple situations. First, it was only face-to-face communication, no written requirement, based on old existing system. Product owner, he concentrates only on the part of the system. Test, mostly user acceptance. No written information about incidents. Only face-to-face communication. Result, well, it should start to work in June. It's not working today. The second situation, new functionality in bank system. It's another bank than my system. My son is working in the moment. It's also only face-to-face communication, no written requirements. We welcome changes, so frequent changes. Product owner. Well, they have two, for first part and for second part. Long time before bug closure, result absolutely disaster. Nothing happened. And the last example, it's something which is more connected with me because I'm working in something which is called content-driven networks, and it's just the neighborhood group working on it. They have 90% written requirements. The most important problem in this branch is performance, so they concentrate. They have 2 performance testers in team, which means rather untypical than typical squad. 60% time takes performance test. Result, it was ready because it should be ready before Euro. But success, why it's question mark? Because at the very, very end, the business says, sorry, it's too dangerous to us. So it's not introduced in the moment, it has no sense to introduce it. Maybe because in the Poland we have something, athletic championship in March, maybe the new version of this application will be ready. Okay, so thank you very much for attention. Questions, comments, remarks. If somebody will have one additional information, sorry, I forgot. Because I'm involved in San Francisco during GA of ESTQB, we hope will be accepted some which is called syllabus for add-ons agile testing. So I think that till the next summer, it will be possibility to be certificate agile tester. If, question mark. Thank you once more. Question, comments, remarks? Yeah.
Basically, very good lecture, and I'm also not a big supporter of pure Agile and Scrum methodology, but also not, supporter of any methodology because I'm supporter of effectiveness. So each methodology should be formed on the basics of effectiveness and the end goal, and some measurements that will lead us to achieving this goal and for success.
Well, it depends. I think that for small, maximum medium-sized project, Agile is a very good methodology. Well, it's not that I do not believe absolutely in Agile. It's not nothing like this. I like this methodology. Well, life critical, rather not. Big company, it must be a process.
That's what I'm talking about. You can call Agile, Scrum, whatever, it's just the words, okay? Even each company has its own adoption of Agile or Waterfall or Iterative Waterfall, and with some principles that they're used, but, I don't believe in people who say, okay, Agile will save the world, or something like that. That's what I'm trying to say.
Well, but in the moment, I don't know who's here, sorry. I'm here less than 1 day. I can say how it looks in Germany, how it looks in France, how it looks in Poland, because I have some information about it. In the moment, Agile is something which looks interesting from the people from business side. Because of this phase, they believe they obtain something better. What I want to tell here is that it's not equivalent to the, Agile does not mean equivalent to success. Small group, startups, ideal. For startups, ideal. For big companies, say, the biggest IT company all over the world, and the project would last, say, 3 years with 200 people. It's not this. Maybe small part. maybe something, but not the whole product. Well, in our business, we have nothing like axioms. We have only good practice. Agile is one of the good practice. But what means good practice? I work, I succeed, try.
Exactly.
If you believe that there is a best methodology, sorry, I don't believe in best. Maybe good, in some situation. Okay.
You mentioned that one of possible solutions to introduce better quality is to have two levels of testing. One is internal in Scrum team and another one by external team.
Yeah.
Do you have any recommendations? The external team should reuse some knowledge from Scrum team about what they
You think
test?
about some white papers about it? Well, I try to find it today in the evening. Please contact with me tomorrow. I will be here tomorrow, and I try to give you some information about it. Because it's... Oh my God. I don't remember the name of the paper. I remember the author, so I think I found it in some of my information with me. If not, please left me your email address. I send you the information.
Okay, thank you.
You are welcome.